and thank you for joining us on Weather Out West. I'm Savannah Welch, and here's what we're tracking for you today. So, after Arizona got soaked yesterday, it appears other parts of the West Coast are now in for the same fate after enjoying a day of dry weather. We'll show you where this next round of rain is going and who's getting hit the hardest. And starting next month, if a tsunami hits, you might not receive a warning. Why this life-saving program is running out of money. Plus, false information spreads online about Mount Rainier's volcanic activity in Washington, what scientists say is actually behind the abnormal seismic readings. And last year's bomb cyclone hit western Washington hard, toppling trees onto homes and even a Metro bus. We'll check in with the bus driver to hear what he experienced that night. Happy Thursday and welcome to Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. We begin today in San Diego, where the next round of showers is on the way, creating gusty winds, slick roads, and possible street flooding. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz is tracking the forecast on this very rainy Thursday.
Happy Thursday from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. We have our third and final storm of the week headed into San Diego, and it's going to bring us some rain, especially when we look ahead to the second half of the day. We've had this parade of storms, and it has been very beneficial for us. For example, our drought monitor was released earlier this morning, and we officially went from a severe level down to a moderate level. So we are slowly but surely seeing some improvement from this rain that we've been having. All right, here's what you need to know. As far as San Diego goes, we had another chilly start to the day. We'll see how mild temperatures later on this afternoon. Although most of the shower activity dodged the morning commute, it's going to be a different story when it comes to the evening commute during rush hour. Showers will start to pick up around 5, 6 o'clock and only intensify as we progress into the late evening. Peak winds are going to impact the county on Friday night, but we'll certainly feel them have an uptick as early as tonight. As far as our rainfall forecast goes, I'm going to fast forward this, kind of give you a play-by-play as to what we're expecting in terms of rainfall. The clouds will build ahead of showers arriving around the 5, 6 o'clock hour. The northwest quadrant is going to get in on the heaviest action around that time, and then it becomes a little more widespread around the 9, 10 o'clock hour, while most of us hopefully are home or under some sort of shelter. The roads are going to be slick, so it is going to result into dangerous driving conditions, especially when we factor in those winds picking up as well. We have the threat for low-lying flooding, especially because we're expecting periods of heavy rains at times, so National Weather Service may very well issue a flood advisory around that time. We dry out, especially for those areas west of the mountains, on Friday. We're mostly dry. I want you to pay attention to the right side of your screen, because as I fast forward to Friday, notice how most of the green is really confined to the county's eastern half along the mountains and desert areas. That's because that system, it's rolling from our south, kind of moving in a southeasterly direction, and the outer bands are impacting those areas along the eastern portion of the county and also parts of Imperial County as well. That flow is going to move from east to west versus west to east on Saturday, and we have the potential of seeing some light showers lingering into Saturday morning and then tapering off towards the second half of the day. Rainfall accumulation, most of the heavy stuff is going to be to our north in San Bernardino, Orange, LA, Riverside counties. For us here in San Diego, we'll get anywhere between ½ an inch to maybe an inch for the coastal areas, and then greater numbers, especially for those higher elevations, including Palomar Mountain as well as Julian. As I mentioned, the winds will be, again, a little stronger tomorrow evening. Isolated gusts anywhere between 30, maybe even 45 miles per hour, especially in Alpine. We typically see some of the strongest winds targeting the mountains and deserts, but this time around, we're going to see some of those powerful winds along some of our most populated neighborhoods. All right, big picture, that area low is in and out of here by the time we get to Tuesday, especially high pressure redevelops. And when we look even further ahead to Thanksgiving, we're looking at really nice and warm conditions. Conditions right now in the high 50s, high temperatures today, another day of scattered 60s across the board. The coastal areas, again, things simmer down, especially this weekend. We'll climb close to 70 degrees by Sunday for the coastline, and then low 70s Sunday and Monday for the inland valleys, near 80 by Tuesday and Wednesday.
And that rain across California is dropping fresh snow in the Sierra Mountain Range. Meteorologist Monica Woods has the latest on the lingering moisture and wet weather across northern California.
I'm meteorologist Monica Woods, and we're getting awfully close to Thanksgiving. We still have some wet weather to contend with here on our Thursday regional headlines, though include dry and cooling weather for the coast. We've got clearing for the valley. Watch out for some fog. Now, showers are lingering for the foothills and for the Sierra. Still more snow showers heading our way. Mammoth Mountain opening on Thursday. This is going to be one of the first ski resorts that's opening. Great conditions, especially throughout the central Sierra, which has largely been in the favorable zone of these recent storm systems coming through. Our model snowfall totals into our Friday still supporting more accumulation coming into the Sierra. So we'll have some fresh powder, and more ski resorts, by the way, are opening. So check daily to see when your favorite one comes online. Could do some early season skiing and snowboarding. I'll look at how that rain continues through the Central Valley here into our Thursday. The back edge of this moving through by the time we get into Thursday night, but snow will continue to fall in the Sierra all the way into our early Friday. So additional snowfall coming in into our Friday. Watch out for travel delays, especially from about I-80 southward along 395 all through the Central Sierra. And showers will finally taper off into our Friday morning for parts of the Central Valley. Now, on the back edge of this, we're going to get the fog along Highway 99 and I-5. So if your travel takes you up and down I-5, perhaps heading out for some early travel, just be aware, encountering that fog to start us off and then clearing for the afternoon. But showers also heading into central and southern California. So kind of a mixed bag of precipitation and some weather delays, potentially snow in the Sierra, fog and rain in the valley. Our rainfall totals aren't going to be too impressive with this particular storm system, only about a tenth of an inch to about 3/10 of an inch from Sacramento all the way south to Bakersfield and along the central coast. On the back edge of it, though, we are going to get some cold weather. Highs only in the 30s for this Sierra, certainly cold enough to support some snow, especially with those overnight lows in the 20s, 40s and 50s down the hill. Heading into the central Sierra, Yosemite up to about 39 degrees for our Thursday. Inland area temperatures will be in the 50s, much cooler than average. And the central coast also dealing with morning showers, afternoon clearing. We'll be in the 50s from Monterey through Carmel, Big Sur, all the way into Morro Bay, 59 degrees. Inland areas for the San Joaquin Valley, only in the 50s for afternoon highs, and overnight lows will be plummeting into the 40s. Grab that extra blanket and extra cup of coffee for our Friday morning. 60s along the coast here for the Bay Area, 50s for inland temperatures. Again, we'll start it off with morning fog, afternoon clearing. Northwest coast highs are going to be in the 50s, very similar to what we'll see for inland areas. We're in the 50s for the north end of the valley, 38 degrees for Lassen National Park. Moving into the capital region, highs are going to be in the 50s to right around 60, quite a bit cooler for this time of year than what we're used to, and 40s for overnight lows. Our 5-day forecast, we've got the showers Thursday into early Friday for the mountains, clearing for the weekend. So if you are headed up to do some skiing and snowboarding, conditions look ideal. Bluebird conditions up there Saturday and Sunday. Rain for the foothills, clearing for the weekend, and we'll see those coastal showers also clearing for Saturday and Sunday. Our extended forecast, we've got just one day of disruptive weather here for our Thursday, although it's going to be chilly for morning lows, afternoon highs climbing back into the 60s for the weekend. Looking ahead to Thanksgiving, we're dry with highs near 60.
Month unless funding for real-time seismic data in Alaska is restored. This is the same data used to send tsunami warnings across the entire West Coast. This program relies on a $300,000 grant. In a letter to NOAA, Senator Maria Cantwell warned that a tsunami could hit Washington's coast just 15 to 30 minutes after an earthquake triggered by the Cascadia subduction zone. She says any delay in alerts could put communities at risk. And the Trump administration is moving to roll back important endangered species protections. The proposal comes from the Fish and Wildlife Service and NOAA as well. One big change would let economic factors play a central role in deciding which plants and animals receive federal protection. The proposal would also eliminate the blanket rule that gives threatened species the same protections as endangered species. The proposed rule is now open for a 30-day public comment period. Coming up, when will Denver get fresh snow? Well, we'll take a look at the weather patterns in the Rockies coming up next. Welcome back. Well, Colorado has been behind in terms of snowfall, but it's looking like that will change soon. Our team in Denver is tracking the winter weather advisories that are in effect today.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. And wow, are we excited about a change in the weather pattern. Dominant ridge of high pressure finally shifting in response to a trough that has 2 weather systems in it. The first one's a warm Pacific storm that'll bring rain to Denver today, but mountain snow. And we're behind in terms of rain and snow for the state, and behind in terms of our first measurable snow in Denver of the season. We're well over a month past when we typically do see that first snow. It's a southwest low. It's going to head into southern Colorado, then eject northeast, where it will weaken, but it will bring in enough water in the form of rain for Denver and the eastern plains, and potentially 3 to 6 inches of snow to our central and southern mountains, where we do have some winter weather advisories posted. This will go out for the day today through the evening, 11 o'clock, for about 4 to 8 inches of snow, around 11,000 feet. For Denver, I just don't think it's going to be cold enough. I think it's going to be all rain, but you go west a little bit, up above 7,000 feet, and yeah, there may be a rain-snow mix or a little bit of light snow on the grass. So kind of fun to see that, but a cooler, cloudier day today. Southwest winds transporting in that moisture. Our rain won't start in Denver till this afternoon, continuing late into the evening, especially for eastern Colorado, western Nebraska, and Kansas. We'll have a few showers early Friday, and then skies will clear, but Friday we'll see temperatures in the 40s to end the week. This is the rain forecast. Look at this. In Denver, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10, but out in the plains, wow, that's some beneficial water we really needed to see. Snow forecast looks good too. Central and southern mountains will get in on the action, and this is the first of 2 storms that we're tracking that will have the potential to bring more snow to the state next week, right around Thanksgiving. So we start in the 40s today, warm to the low 50s, shock to the system. I say cooler, but this is average. Seasonal highs are in the 50s, and then we go colder Friday, warmer for the weekend, tracking a shower Sunday night, and then that storm for the middle part of next week. It'd be fun to have some snow on Thanksgiving.
Well, yesterday marked the 23rd straight day of no rain, no snow, no precipitation in Denver. But that streak is coming to an end as we have rain moving in. We're seeing snow up in the high country. We will see rain down here at the lower elevations and here in the metro area after about 2 o'clock. So impressive totals out across the far eastern plains. We're looking at over a 1/2 of an inch expected in Ray, 3/10 of an inch in Burlington. Here in the metro area, about 1/10 of an inch, possibly a little bit more. But again, the first time we're going to see some rain and moisture here in the metro area in, again, 23 days. As for the mountains, we are looking at snow, 4 to 8 inches of snow down across the southern mountains, up across the central and northern mountains. We're looking at anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow as this storm gradually moves through. We do have a winter weather alert. This is a winter weather advisory again for the Sangre de Cristo as well as the San Juan Mountains. We're looking at about 4 to 8 inches of snow above about 11,000 feet. So again, as we head through the week, we are looking at a little bit of a mix in your forecast for the days. 53 today, and again we have showers moving in after about 2 o'clock. 47 cooler tomorrow, possibly some showers to wake up to, and then it all clears out, clearing on Saturday. Sunday, 52 degrees. We do have a chance for some evening showers, and then we're mild as we head into the work week and cooling down as well. Temperatures a lot cooler in the 40s Tuesday and Wednesday. Check out those overnight lows dropping down into the 20s.
Well, you heard our Denver meteorologist say winter seems to be dodging the city with not much snow expected in the metropolitan area. It will mark the second latest date with 0 snow on the ground. But just how much of winter has the city missed with this slow start? Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen has the answer.
Well, as I stand outside with short sleeves and shorts on November the 19th, a third of the snow season is already over, and we have virtually nothing to show for it in the mountains or in the city. But those first 3 months of the season really only represent a very small portion of the total snow, so we still have lots of winter left in the tank. The city of Denver averages 34 snow days per season. That's days with snow accumulation from September through May, and only 8 of those days come in the first 3 months. So if the rest of the season is average, Denver still has 26 snow days still left to come. The last time we had a slow start to winter like this was 2021. The first snow didn't come until December the 10th. And Denver went on to have a total of 20 snow days that season with a respectable 4 feet of snow, which is just slightly below average. And in the mountains, even after a recent storm, Colorado's snowpack is still 3rd worst in history. But the first 3 months of the season only represent 22% of the total snowpack. So with a couple of storms still left in November, there's about 80% of the mountain snow still to fall, which using a very basic snow to water conversion is about 250 inches or 20 feet of snow still left in the tank. Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen for the 9 News Weather Impact Team.
And with no snow on the ground yet, the Colorado Department of Transportation has extra time to fix its broken avalanche mitigation system at the base of Loveland Pass. The system, called GAZE-X, uses compressed gas to trigger controlled snow slides and prevent avalanches. A memo to the CDOT Commission highlights the urgent need to replace the system, noting the steel tubes, the gas blasters, that's what they're called, are unreliable and pose a high risk of catastrophic failure. As a backup, CDOT still uses an avalauncher, which fires artillery shells from the back of a truck, but that too poses a safety risk. One of those systems actually injured 2 workers back in 2014.
It puts people out in the elements, so it's a safety issue for my team and the maintenance teams that are also helping us close the road and do that kind of stuff.
CDOT is asking for $2 million to retire the old system and switch to remote-controlled explosives. The commission is set to make a decision later today. When snow finally hits Denver, Boulder's snowplow fleet will be ready, and also some have fun, creative names. For the 5th year in a row, pre-K through 12th graders were invited to submit their favorite names. Students who submitted winning names got the chance to pose for a photo with the snowplow they named. There were 17 winning names for the city's 17 snowplows. Some of the fun picks include Lollaplowlooza, Fleetwood Mac, and Austin Plowers. Well, Arizona saw heavy showers yesterday. This was the scene inside a shopping mall last night. You can see puddles of water on the floor. Outside, pouring rain flooded sidewalks. The Phoenix Fire Department says crews responded after part of the mall roof collapsed, likely due to heavy rain and hail. No one was hurt, but the area remains under a flood watch until Thursday morning. Snow and hail also covered vehicles and neighborhoods in parts of Arizona. In the Southwest, lingering rain continues this morning following hail, as we said earlier, showers and record snow that blanketed parts of the state. Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries is tracking the severe weather out of Phoenix.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries. A look at your weather out west across Arizona, where we have seen snow in the high country. We've seen record rain in the high country for Flagstaff and Prescott. And here in Phoenix, the Valley of the Sun, we saw hail, so much hail yesterday that folks actually thought it was snowing. Yes, severe weather blanketing Arizona yesterday. No record rainfall for Phoenix, but we certainly picked up some beefy rainfall totals in some of our surrounding cities. Now, today, we're not quite done with the rain, but it's really minimal impact, and we're really just seeing it in the morning hours. I think the big weather story today is going to shift from all the precipitation to the chilly air. I mean, we've got a freeze warning that's going to go into place for portions of Arizona, and we still have some, spotty flood watches as this residual moisture continues to race across the sky. In the morning hours, that's when we're primarily looking for some shower activity, and then it's going to lift, leaving us on the cloudy side But remember, when those clouds clear out, that's when that cool air really is able to drop into play. So first things first, we've got this flash flood watch for portions just north of Phoenix. It's only until the morning hours, but it just kind of lets you know how saturated the ground is and how we've already picked up so much rainfall. Glendale, oh my goodness, over 2 inches of rain. As I step off the frame, you can really take a look at how pocketed these storms are. I mean, for Paradise Valley, so that's basically in the heart of our metro, we saw right about a ½ inch. But then on the west side, so Glendale, where State Farm Stadium is, where the Arizona Cardinals play, over 2 inches of rain, over 1 inch in Goodyear. Meantime, we saw only less than a ½ inch in Tempe, and at Sky Harbor, our official measurement, under 1/3. So that just, again, lets you know how pocketed these showers are. Even though we only picked up about 1/3 of an inch of rain, we have had a juicy year. So far, we are closing in on 8 inches of rain in Phoenix. Normal to date, about 6 1/4. So yeah, it's on the higher side. And we should still accumulate this morning. A lot of the moisture should be staying on the east side. And certainly we've got a snow element as that snow elevation has come down to 6,500 feet. But then after about 9 to 10 o'clock, it looks like the moisture is going to be moving off to the east. So White Mountains and into high country, still a healthy opportunity for some showers, but we're basically going to see a nice little break coming our way by tomorrow. So morning showers and cool. Daytime highs only up to 65 degrees. And you can see we still may, spring a leak, let's say, between 10 to noon, but I really expect that to be in the higher elevations and to the east of the metro. Then tonight, partly cloudy conditions, overnight lows down to about 53 degrees, and temperatures really going to be dropping in. Look at this. We've got a freeze warning for portions of southeast Arizona simply because temperatures are going to be sub-freezing. I mean, we're going to see numbers in the 20s. So because of that, that snow elevation will continue to drop. I'm looking for some decent snowfall totals. Flagstaff already picked up some snow, but even though we've got a break, look what's coming around this weekend. We've got another round of rain and snow on Saturday. Right now, the coverage looks like about 40% for Flagstaff, but 50% for the metro. And again, this isn't going to be all day rain. I'm looking for it late afternoon into the evening hours, overnight into Sunday.
Up next, a Washington bus driver remembers when falling trees during last year's bomb cyclone forced him and his passengers to escape safety. This is coming up next. One year ago, a historic bomb cyclone swept through western Washington, killing several people, devastating homes, and leaving more than 600,000 customers without power for days. The powerful winds toppled countless trees, including 2 that landed on Metro buses. Seattle's Madison Wade spoke with one of those bus drivers about what he went through that night.
This is the 65 route. It starts at the Shoreline. It goes down 145th and eventually makes its way here onto 35th and goes down to the U District.
Chuck Anderson of Edmonds reflects on a routine route that turned into a rattling one.
The winds were picking up, and then we started losing power all along the way, and we'd go through areas that were so pitch black, and this was one of them. It was so dark, and so it was really leery.
While driving along this road, Chuck got stuck behind a car smashed by a tree. He decided to take action and evacuated his bus. He knew they'd most likely be stuck by the storm fallout for hours.
And I was just sitting, waiting with all the wind going and these tall trees all around me. I heard the crack, but then the bus shake because it hit the back of the bus.
After the evacuation still in place, the storm caught up to Chuck.
And there it is where it's hit the back of the bus. And you see the damage at the top. Yeah, just had I been back a few feet, would have done even more damage.
Chuck is grateful no one was hurt, including his colleague up the road, who also had a tree come down on top of his bus. The same scene my photographer and I reported from the night of the storm.
It's not that we could have gotten out of the situation, but I think we did what was smart and good to do in a safety way.
Up next on Weather Out West, Stevens Pass introduces its tiniest and cutest team member, and she's training to save lives. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on Weather Out West. Well, Stevens Pass in Washington has a new tiny team member, a Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever pup called Jazz. The resort says Jazz is now training with Ski Patrol, spending the next few seasons learning to become an avalanche rescue dog. The Northwest has had considerable rainfall this month. And, you know, it's not going away anytime soon. November is one of our rainiest months, if not the rainiest month of the year. But there could be a dry spell heading into the weekend. Meteorologist Ashley Ruiz is tracking rain and mountain snow in Seattle.
Hey there, a very happy Thursday from Seattle, Washington. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz, and hopefully, if you live in Western Washington, you can get out and enjoy some sunshine. Similar to our Wednesday, we're starting off with some impactful gray weather, and then we're going to have sunshine as we head into the afternoon before more rain returns to the forecast Friday and Saturday. But the greatest chance for widespread rain, including here in Seattle, will come Sunday and then at times into Monday. I do want to stress that we are keeping a very close eye on the forecast into next week, Tuesday through Thanksgiving Day, because there are so many uncertainties of whether or not we're going to have a wet forecast. And if that's the case, especially because it's looking likely that we'll have snow levels come way down, which would impact pass travel through the Cascades. So again, something we're going to monitor very carefully. But let's take you back, let's see, about 130 years of data, weather data that we have here in Seattle, going back to 1894, November 19th. It's the wettest day historically here in Seattle. 96 out of 130 years we had rain. And so it is the wettest day in terms of our climate data. But yesterday, nothing. So, of course, but you know what? No one's complaining here because we had a beautiful day. And today's going to be similar. We woke up to some rain, though. We'll have those clearing skies. A ridge of high pressure builds over the region. It's weak, and it's going to stay there, stay over the region at least until tomorrow. Then it's going to move a little more to the south. And then once that happens, that's going to open the door for our next system to roll in. That's why really Friday and Saturday, depending on where you are, the closer you are to the Canadian border, the better shot for some falling and accumulating rain that you will encounter. But Saturday night into Sunday, we'll have increasing rain for everyone. On Monday, a quick moving system will bring us more rain, mountain snow, and gusty conditions. I wanted to show you some of the cameras around Washington because it's beautiful. We have some sun, we have clouds, and we have some mountain snow. Mount Rainier, Paradise, Winter Wonderland, and snow levels are going to be about 5,000 to 6,000 feet over the weekend, so some fresh snow likely going to be there as well. Also showing you Seattle looking toward downtown. We can see downtown compared to yesterday. We had a lot of fog, but today again we'll have a good amount of sunshine, highs in the low and mid 50s. Up in the mountains, the pass is at least 30s and 40s. In terms of the cloud cover today, we're going to have clearing skies, maybe a sprinkle up into the Cascade foothills and mountains, but we're not expecting anything meaningful by any means. Then we get to Friday, and notice most of the precipitation stays to the north and northwest of Seattle. Eventually, we get this push of this front that's going to move in late Saturday, but really most of the rain, as I mentioned, over Vancouver Island, the northwestern portion of the Olympic Peninsula, north of Seattle, all the way up into British Columbia. Then we get into Sunday morning, and you see how showers slowly start to move to the south. They spread over the area, quick moving system into Monday. This is what I was talking about in terms of the forecast uncertainties, because Tuesday could end up being wetter than what we're thinking right now. And once again, with snow levels coming way down, this could be pretty impactful for travel.
Scientists are reassuring the public Mount Rainier in Washington is not expected to erupt anytime soon. They're debunking recent claims about heightened seismic activity and impending eruption. Seattle's Connor Board has more.
Mount Rainier is considered to be an active volcano seismically, but scientists say right now people are misinterpreting data, and what they're seeing is not a sign of a blast.
Rainier is currently at a perfectly normal background level of activity.
State seismologist Harold Tobin says he was confused when he saw people claiming there was abnormal seismic activity at Mount Rainier.
We knew nothing was going on at Mount Rainier, and we didn't know why these articles were suddenly showing up and all of this social media attention to it.
That's when he and his team at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network say they realized people were misinterpreting data from one of their many seismic stations on the mountain.
What they were seeing was just one of our many seismic stations that was sending out essentially static, just noise instead of actual data. And that's the whole problem. And the thing that people think is tremor at the volcano, it's just some static.
They have about a dozen seismic stations around Mount Rainier, including 3 high on the mountain.
So the one that people have been paying so much attention to today is STAR, is this one right here.
STAR is the highest and most remote and can become covered in snow and ice, similar to this station at Mount St. Helens.
So that antenna is trying to send the data, but it's trying to blast it through the coating of ice that's undoubtedly built up on the antenna. And it just doesn't have the power to get the signal out, so all we're seeing is basically noise.
Proof of the issue is shown in the data being recorded. The 2 other stations on the mountain were recording small earthquakes, while STAR was transmitting static.
All we see is just a noisy signal, no events on that one, and that's the sign that this one's not working properly.
He said if there were signs of trouble, they would quickly alert authorities and the public.
If there was something that actually looked like volcanic activity was building up inside the mountain, then we worked very closely with the U.S. Geological Survey, and they raised the alert level for Mount Rainier. Right now it's at green, normal, background.
Something he wanted to emphasize was the importance of getting your information from verified sources instead of people on the internet. In Tacoma, Connor Board, King 5 News.
While Mount Rainier may not be exploding, Mount Semeru in Indonesia is, prompting authorities to raise the alert for a volcano to the highest level. While Mount Rainier may not be erupting, we did just tell you this. Sorry about that. The mountain erupted multiple times yesterday, sending thick clouds of hot ash and lava down its slopes for 4 miles. The volcano lies on the country's most densely populated island. As is the case with many of the active volcanoes in Indonesia, tens of thousands of people continue to live on its fertile slopes. Hundreds of people were evacuated. So far, no injuries have been reported. And speaking of volcanoes, Mount Hood in Oregon is getting some fresh snowfall. Meteorologist Rod Hill has a look at the forecast in Portland and the sunshine in store today for the Rose City.
From the Rose City, it's actually a really nice morning out. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. Let's go up to the mountain where we begin, and this is, dun-da-dum, that's new. It's just an inch though, 1 inch of new snow. We had snow showers last night. Both Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline reporting an inch up on Mount Hood. It's a beautiful morning. Look at the blue skies up over the summit. Temperatures have been in the 20s. The passes for travel, by the way, they're okay. Again, we just got an inch at the resorts. We had some snow over Santiam and Willamette, but the roads are fine. Everything's warming up. We've been talking about back and forth over the past couple weeks at this point of how early the resorts opened in the Cascades here in Oregon a year ago, and how we basically at the resorts have nothing on the ground this year so far. So this is a comparison. So November 20th last year, Timberline, Meadows, Ski Bowl, all 3 of the resorts around Mount Hood were open for daily operations. Timberline had a 49-inch base. They had 90 inches of snowfall. That's measuring every single flake that falls from like September forward. You know, a lot of it comes and goes. Meadows had a 42-inch base and 72 had fallen. Now, I realize I made this graphic before we got the 1 inch of snow, but basically there's no base at Timberline. 54 is all that's fallen since September. Meadows, no base. And check this out. A year ago, they had 72 inches of snowfall measured. So far, only 19. Now, this is not unusual, but it's always a downer when our resorts can't open because of lack of snow for the Thanksgiving weekend, and that still looks, barring a miracle, that looks like that will be the case again this year. So we'll hope for a colder, more active December to take hold and get things going. Satellite picture, this fetch of moisture is going to be streaming up to our north. We may get caught in that cloud flow on Saturday, but not today, and I don't think tomorrow either. Now, we have lingering showers this morning, but there's not much, and everything you see is going to be fizzling out. And we will move forward with a really nice day. This was 9 o'clock this morning, and then here's 2 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, it does show a shower south of Newport, down around Eugene, but basically we're dry this afternoon, and we open up a lot of sunshine here in the west side of our state, so that'll be really nice. Friday, all dry, some morning fog, and then partly sunny skies. We'll be watching the cloudiness to our north tomorrow, and again, it's possible that we have a cloudy Saturday, but again, right now, it looks to be a high confident call that Saturday will stay dry. All right, Chinook Woods Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Mix of some dark clouds, some light clouds, and some blue with the Pacific waters coming in there. Good visibility here in the valley. It's been mostly cloudy to partly sunny at times over our state capital in Salem. And downtown Portland's been seeing the clouds kind of break up. So we will see increasing sun going into the afternoon hours. Temperatures will be nice, low to mid 50s, nothing to complain about here. Coast and Valley for a nice afternoon. 40s in Central Oregon and 40s out across parts of Eastern Oregon as well. Our 7-day forecast, 54 today, fog to sun, 52 tomorrow. Partly sunny or cloudy Saturday. Now, if Saturday turns out cloudy, it'll probably be closer to like 50, 51 for a high instead of 55. And then the big change is a front that was going to come in on Monday is now tracking to be here on Sunday. So we have rain in Sunday's forecast.
After the break, we'll show you new images from NASA of a rare comet. Stick with us. NASA has released the latest images of an interstellar comet known as 3I Atlas. The rare comet was first detected on July 1st. It's the third ISO to originate outside our solar system and pass through it. The interstellar comet was seen zooming past Mars last month. The object will swing within 168 million miles of Earth on December 19th. And now we're heading to eastern Washington, where more moisture and cooler temperatures are expected. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick breaks down the forecast over in Spokane.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. It had a little bit of some light rain this morning, though all of that already gone in what is still proving to be a pretty stable and a pretty normal November forecast. The only thing that's getting unusual is that we still haven't seen any snow just yet, but we must be getting another day closer, another week closer. And at this stage of the forecast, starting to look just ever so more likely that snow will appear in the late forecast around Thanksgiving, and that could be a big deal for travelers, especially around the Pacific Northwest for that time. So a lot to cover for eastern Washington and North Idaho, not just today, not just this weekend, but for the entire week ahead. As we start with today, there's been this occluded front, meaning that there's cold weather both in front of it and behind it, and still a frontal boundary nonetheless. Pretty weak storm system, a lot more rain out on the west side. A bit of rain and moisture did trickle in towards the Palouse in southeastern Washington, but all that moisture is basically wrung out like wringing a sponge dry, so I'm not forecasting any more rain for this region for the day, nor tomorrow either. Temperatures will still stay pretty close to averages. I go mid-40s yet again for Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and Pullman. Just a couple degrees above average, but close enough to call that a pretty normal November day for us. So that's where we stand right now. And even the weekend ahead could be even a little bit more mild, like 5 to 8 degrees above average. Next week's a different story, though. Looking at the Thanksgiving week, small, subtle change around the Pacific Northwest. Spokane still appears to be slightly cooler than average, though you might notice a difference in the temperature trend between Spokane and, say, Portland, which could actually be decently mild enough for Thanksgiving. So that is going to be a slight difference there. The colder than average weather for us, though, well, Thanksgiving's average high temperature is 38 degrees, and we will be below that, which means snow is not an impossibility in the forecast. So as we look at the big picture here, the one thing I want to point out is this jet stream ridge which flattens and even starts to kink southward into more of a trough shape. So when that arrives around Sunday, that will be the initial cold front, probably our next best chance of rain in Spokane, Sunday evening and Monday morning. Everything that's behind that is much cooler, even for late November standards. Any storm systems that will start to brew around this direction in the North Pacific will be worth watching, because that is going to affect the holiday forecast the whole week, especially for travelers. I know a lot of people will travel back and forth between Spokane and Seattle, Washington. That means going over Snoqualmie or Stevens Pass in the Cascades. That could be a little treacherous, especially in the days following Thanksgiving. While it's hard to tell exactly when those storm systems may lie, I do think somewhere around Thursday, Friday, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving could be affected by some mountain snowfall. That is starting to look a little bit more confident. As for low elevation snowfall, not sure just yet, though I did add a chance of snow in the forecast for Wednesday and Wednesday evening.
Continuing our tour through the Northwest, in Boise, a cold snap is on the way, along with more showers as well. Our team in Idaho is keeping an eye on the fog and, of course, all that rain.
Well, we had a quick round of rain and snow here early on this morning, and this is a look at our Bogus Basin webcam here early on in the morning around 4 o'clock. We started to see some of those showers start to fall, and we continued on there, and that's what brought along a lot more of that snow there. And as we take a look at the snow stake, a lot of skiers and boarders here in Idaho very excited to see that close to about an inch of snow fell through at least 9 o'clock here on this Thursday. So we're anticipating a little bit more of that at least through the early afternoon. And here's a look at the difference that we saw yesterday. We've had some milder temperatures, so a lot of the snow that we had the past couple of weeks have dried out as we've had those warm temperatures there. But as we continued on here through last night and early on in through this morning, we saw huge changes. We saw some snow start to make its way through and start to blanket portions there in front of the mountains there, and continue to see a little bit more of that across many of those mountain peaks. But as we continued on, we see a little bit more of that, and we're going to continue to see a lot more of that snow there, at least as we get towards the afternoon. But as we mentioned, we did have some of the rain here for the valley, so it was a very quick round as we're expecting drier conditions to really continue and hold steady here through the rest of this Thursday and in through the weekend. The other thing that's going to hold steady is going to be the temperatures all the way through Monday. We're going to start to see that those temperatures don't really veer off too much from the upper 40s to low 50s, but it's not until we arrive in through early and middle of next week that we start to see a cold snap that arrives there. But as we look at our satellite and radar picture, a lot of that moisture will continue here through the rest of this afternoon. But this is us fast forwarding here through Thursday. So after a lot of that rain, we're expecting cooler and quieter conditions. So as we fast forward here, Thursday expecting to see a little bit more of that clearing there through the evening. Friday, expecting to see the afternoon, seeing a little bit more of that sunshine before we see a little bit more of those clouds really start to pick up as we get towards Saturday, and looking pretty good for senior night out on the blue as Boise State plays off against Colorado State. And we're going to continue to see that pretty good conditions will continue after the morning as we have kickoff there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with temperatures into the low 50s. But here's a look at our upper level pattern as we're going to start to see that system that brought us some of those showers moves further down and through the south. We see a very weak ridge of high pressure that comes along, so it's not going to warm up temperatures. What it is going to do is bring some of the quieter conditions that we're expecting all the way through Saturday and Sunday before we start to see some changes in cooler temperatures coming along in through Monday. So we have a system that passes up through the north that brings us in some of those cooler temperatures with a cold front, and then we're expecting to see a little bit more of some of that active weather that comes along Wednesday and through Thursday. So as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, this is a look at Twin Falls through the Magic Valley. Temperatures will stay into the upper 40s. Then we'll drop down a couple more degrees as we're going to see some early clouds there on Friday before that sunshine starts to prevail through the afternoon on Friday. And then that's where we expect to see, with some of the drier conditions, the lighter winds, and again, some of the recent moisture we've seen, fog could be a big problem as we get on through Saturday and Sunday, as it could get dense in some spots. Temperatures will climb up just a little bit more. The only thing that starts to continue to cool down is going to be those morning temperatures as we continue down into the low 20s by the time we get towards Wednesday of next week. And as we look at the 7-day forecast here, temperatures don't really change too much, but with some of the clouds that we see there into the next couple of days could hinder some of those temperatures to actually not be able to climb out of those 40s there through Saturday and Sunday. We expect to see overnight and in through the morning a possibility of some patchy fog before we start to see some cooler temperatures there through Tuesday and Wednesday.
Up ahead, a bald eagle soars free again. We'll show you its release back into the wild after the break. A cheetah at the Smithsonian National Zoo and Conservation Biology Institute recently gave birth to 4 cubs. The zoo says the cheetah cubs are strong, active, vocal, and eating well. You can go to the zoo's website to see the adorable 1-month-old babies now on the cheetah cub cam. This is the 20th litter born at the Front Royal campus. Zookeepers say cheetahs can be challenging to breed, partly because of their sporadic reproductive cycles. Cheetahs are considered vulnerable to extinction. There are only about 7,000 left in the wild. The Washington San Juan Island Wildlife Rescue successfully released a bald eagle back in the wild. This is Sentinel. He was found sick with a severe avian pox infection on Sentinel Island back in May. After 6 months in the care of Wolf Hollow Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, Sentinel was sent back on his feet, flying again in their enclosure. He flew the nest yesterday, flying high up into the trees within minutes of being released. Sentinel will likely make the short trip back to Sentinel Island. And finally, take a look at this super cute video. Police drone pilot in Florida captured video of a family of manatees swimming alongside a playful dolphin. The rare glimpse of Florida's marine wildlife in action comes during Manatee Awareness Month. That's when boaters are urged to be extra cautious as manatees migrate to warmer waters around the state during that time. Well, that does it here for us here on Weather Out West. I'm Savannah Welch. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.